guys, and welcome back to the second episode of Public Speaking Series under the project I Create, presented to you by Swan Livelihood. I'm your host and presenter, Janvi, and today we are going to talk about finding your niche. In the last episode of public speaking, we talked about what public speaking really is and what all it involves, and how you can be a great public speaker in spite of having the fear of speaking in front of people. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. In times like this, where everything is virtual, pretty much everyone can start an online business or a side hustle. We have our tools, and right now, basically, we just need internet connection and a laptop, and we are good to go. But the question here is there is an endless possibility for the entrepreneurs to present their product or services, which makes it very important for each one of us to know what our niche, what our areas of opportunity is. And this is why I have brought forward this presentation that's going to help you finding your niche by the end of the presentation. So the very first question here is, what is niche? So, niche in technical terms is basically a specific portion of the market that is united by a common interest or a demography. So, as you can see a flowchart here, niche includes any product or service that you have to offer that has a strong market demand, minimum competition, because too much of competition can really not help you if you don't have enough resources, is professionally and personally satisfying because it's gonna involve a lot of your time, so it's practically not really suitable for you if you don't enjoy the business or the side hustle that you're starting. Has high profit potential. So even though finding a niche does not really has a factor, the money factor, that's very important, but eventually money is something that we do the business for. So it's, even though it's not a major factor, it really is a considerable one. Next is it solves the practical need. So whatever your niche is, whatever the business or product or service that you're thinking or planning of offering, it should actually solve a practical need. It should not be impractical just for the sake of starting a business. You should not just going and include all of your resources that you have into something that's not really gonna help you in long term. And now that being said, let's now discuss of why you should actually have a niche. So when you focus on specific customer group, you actually research on the needs, and you basically think about how you can go ahead and bring about your product into the market, how you can market the product to the specific customer base that you're targeting, because not every customer base has similar interests, and not every customer base would be intrigued by your marketing skills if you just follow a common process. Just say for example, if you're targeting gamers, then it's not really feasible to market your gaming products physically. Door to door marketing would not help. Similarly, if you are marketing home decor items, so it won't really be feasible if you market it in streaming platforms like Netflix and all, because though it can be helpful, but again, it's not, it does not equalizes the effort and the amount that you're paying. This is why you should really know your niche, so that you know where and how to market your product. So the first point mentioned here is a niche helps you to establish a loyal customer base. So once you understand the customer base that you're going to market, you are basically going to research each and everything about them, and you are with your product you're going to bridge the gap between their needs and wants and the customer. So that bridge would be basically the product or service that you're going to offer. So when you research, when you give so much to the customer base, it's definitely is going to grab attention of the customers, and they're definitely going to come back again and again to buy your product or service. And once you have a loyal customer base, it reduces the competition, because once you have your product established, you won't really have to, though you would have to work on continuously increasing the quality. However, it won't be as much of a work as you did initially to establish your product. And once you have a specific niche in mind, you won't scatter your energy into various segments of the market or business. This would eventually reduce the marketing costs, because you know where all you need to spend money, so you only have to spend money on that instead of 100 other things. Catering to a niche can increase profit, of course, once you know what customer base you're going to target, and it definitely reduces the marketing cost and the business cost. It would eventually increase that profit between the cost and the price of the sales, so the profit margin is definitely going to increase. It demonstrates your expertise. Let's say we talk about Gucci or Chanel. They, even though they are marketed as luxurious goods, so they don't really need to market their expertise now that they have established their customer base. Because if we think we need to go to buy some luxurious bag or perfume, they are the go-to. So this demonstrates their expertise, that they are experts in handling the luxurious section of the society. So these all are basically the major reasons of why you should know your niche. So because it eventually is gonna grab more of the customer's attention towards your product. And that being said, let's move on. So according to Forbes, here is the 5-step formula to find your niche. So the very first step would be to evaluate your passions and skills. Once you know what you're really passionate about and what all your skills are, so that you can bring both of these together to work on your niche, perfecting your niche, and bringing forward the products that you're actually thinking about to bring in the market. Figure out if there's a market for your niche, because it's really very important. Let's say if I'm gonna bring a product, say if I'm gonna bring medicine, a headache medicine, there's already a market that's established for it, and there's already a huge competition, because it's gonna take a lot of your effort, research, resources, and time. So you have to think, if there's already a market that's created, is there a monopoly that's already created? And after all that research, if you still think that you'll be able to bear the losses in the start, or if you'll be able to bear the stress, the tension, and the huge cost, then definitely you should go for it. And if not, I would suggest you to look for other ways or different product altogether that caters to another market where there is less competition. The third step would be to narrow down your niche. As huge your niche is, the more resources and work it's going to require. So let's say, when I talk about niche, it's just not a particular section of the society. Like it can be the youth, the age group of 35 to 40, but it can also be a club of various demographies and various portions of the society. Like if we talk about fitness, now after the coronavirus, it's not really limited to the youth, the teens, or basically the men who were actually very considerate about their health and fitness. Now it has grown its um, wings to various sections of the society. So when I go to the gym, I see old people, I see kids going to the gym, I see housewives going to the gym. So it's necessary, does not necessarily mean that you are, you know, your niche is just a specific age group. It can be a club of various age groups, income groups, various demographies, geographical locations, and whatnot. So I would suggest you to narrow down your niche so that the less the areas of opportunity are in terms of various segments of society, the easier it would be to target them. One more example here can be skincare products. So now, when I talk about skincare product, Korean products are really very in trend. So when, let's say, I talk about sheet masks, so now not only the women but the men are also into it. However, if I talk about, say, a demography India, so there is still a huge population of women that are more into skincare as compared to men. However, this is not the same case for the other Asian countries. And when, again, if I talk about India, there is this age group of 16 to 35 that basically uses these skincare products more. So this is how, you know, you narrow down your niche basis various factors, not only the product actually, but also the various environmental factors and social factors as well. The last would second last would be to check out the competition for yourself, because as I mentioned in the previous slide too, if there's a huge competition and if you are, you know, a very new entrepreneur into the society and you don't really have the enough resources and money, it's definitely not gonna be a wise choice. So this is why, if you are a new change maker, you are a young entrepreneur and don't really need or don't really want to take that much of a risk, go for a niche that has comparatively less competition. And the last would be test your niche. By testing your niche, how you can do that is, you know, now there are Google AdWords. There are a lot of tools that you can use for free. And even if you're not a techie like me, who don't and not really comfortable using all these specific tools, what you can go do is you can just go to the specific platform that you're thinking about for marketing purposes. Let's say if it's Facebook or Instagram. If you go to Instagram, just search using the hashtags. Let's say if you talk about skincare, so use all the hashtags using that you'll be using to market the skincare products, like hashtag skincare, hashtag glowing skin, and look how many people are actually, you know, in the market who are selling the product, and in the market who are actually testing the product, and how many people are actually, you know, getting involved in that hashtag, so that you get a quick idea of what your potential customers would be looking for. While you're doing this, you can also, by using hashtags, search for your competitors and see how they're doing and how is their plan of action of doing things. So let's say if there's this huge XYZ influencer that you find, and you can just go to their following profile and you can, you know, see the other competitors in the same niche and see how they are actually going forward marketing their product, and how they are offering their services, and how actually they are posting about their stuff. So you just get a brief idea of what you need to do, and would it be actually successful or not, or if you would be able to follow the same trend or not. Now, well, while we are at it, let's go to the next slide. Moment. So now that we have talked about all the functionalities and the technicalities, let's now talk about a few examples. So the very first example that actually boomed during the lockdown was thrift stores. Now everyone's talking about, environmental friendly clothing, secondhand goods, and thrift stores. So this is basically a very nice niche that caters to basically women who are college going, who don't really have much of resources to spend on. However, they want to, go according to the trend and wear sustainable clothing that also does not really feel uncomfortable and out of the in trend market. Second example would be the pests. Now that I think about it, being a pet parent myself, I'm ready to spend endless amount to for the grooming products, for their food, for their luxurious items as well. So this is also an example of a niche that there exists, especially that has boomed after the lockdown. Next would be the home decor again. So nowadays, once we, in the lockdown, we spend a lot of time grooming ourselves and our homes. Various DIYs, minimalistic styles, new creations increased in demand. So everyone was looking for how to, do it yourself, strategies to make your home look prettier, and all those tools that would help them to, transform their gardens or their homes or the living rooms without actually, spending a lot of money in it. And now we see IKEA and Amazon spending a lot more amount to product their goods, the home decor items. So this is also basically a very booming niche. But it again involves pretty, if you're offering furniture, it requires more of the resources. But if you're just selling the DIY products, it can be the one that the go-to product for you. Next is fitness, as I gave you the example earlier as well. Fitness has been on a crazy boom after um, from the last 2 3 years, because everyone is so health conscious right now that there's basically anyone who does not go to a gym or a dance institute. It could be anything, it's not necessarily mean gym. So the fitness products are also in the boom. If you've seen the decathlon, especially here in the North India, it has been on the huge boom, because when we go to some place, of course we need to dress according to the occasion. So it's not that I go in my PJs, pajamas, and just start exercising. I need to be look good in order to dance, in order to lift weights. And again, in the lockdown as well, there were various fitness products like dumbbells and ropes and whatnot that were purchased. So yes, this is another example of fitness. And last but not the least is gaming. So when we spend, earlier gaming was a huge no for people like us, but after the pandemic, it has again been very intriguing topic. And earlier, the gamers were basically the high school students or the college students. However, now there is not really a particular age group that are gamers, and there is no particular gender that game is into gaming. So earlier there used to be only young boys who used to do that, but now I see many females are also there gaming, and it's not just the teenagers or youths that are doing it. Many middle-aged people are also doing it. So this is another example. And on that being said, this is how niche basically works, and this is how important niche is, because it can either create or destroy your business within seconds. So you need to really be very careful about selecting a niche, because if you're have done your planning well, 70% of the tasks is done. The only 30% remaining task would be basically gathering the resources and actually marketing the product, and that's it. So you need to, and not only in business perspective, if you are working as an employee as well, you need to find your niche, you need to find what you're good at, because if you're doing something that you're not really good at, I don't think that would be really helpful in the long term, because you're just holding on to it and not really enjoying what you're doing. So you need to, there is a SWOT analysis that we are taught in marketing. So you can search it on Google as well. I've not included it here because it is again a huge topic. But you can do the SWOT analysis, think about your strengths, weaknesses, areas of opportunity, and threats. Make a list of that and see what you're actually good at and where you need to work on, so that you know where you are going to see yourself in the next 5 years. So yeah, with this we've come to the end of today's session. And like all the other sessions, I always end it with a quote. So according to D'Angelo Russell, when you find your niche, you just gotta continue to be confident and thrive in it. So once you're done with the major part of researching your niche, knowing what your strength and opportunity and strength and weaknesses are, you just need to continue working on it and be confident in yourself, believe in yourself, and just keep thriving for it. So now this brings to us to the end of this second episode of our public speaking series presented to you under the project I Create, powered by Swan Livelihood. And I will meet you at the same time next week, and we will talk about a very important topic, that's business or employment communication. So I hope to see you next week. Till then, take care and bye bye.